boys and girls, students of Buddhist Sunday School and Dhamma class, teachers of Buddhist Sunday School and Dhamma class, parents and grandparents, youth members, and all who are following this presentation. Good morning. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. Now, for this lesson, we are going to have another Jataka story titled Vannapatha Jataka. It's a story with a moral. As you know, Jataka stories talk about the previous lives of the Buddha as a Bodhisattva. Sometimes he was an animal in the rounds of rebirth, and sometimes he was a human being or a heavenly being. Now, these Jataka stories teach very good moral lessons. Whether they are really true or not true is not that important compared to the moral lessons that we can learn from these Jataka stories. Just like Sankanchiu stories, they teach also good lessons. Or some of the fables from Aesop's fables. So we should take it in this way and learn important Dharma teachings. Now, the PowerPoint presentation has the text in English and Malay or Bahasa Malaysia, but the narration, comments, and explanation are in English. So, before we show you the presentation, let me check the setup for the slideshow. It's okay. And now we will have the PowerPoint presentation. Now you see the cover slide of this Jataka story titled Vannapatha Jataka, and it is a Jataka story that has good moral, And at the end of the presentation of the story, we are going to go over some important Dhamma teachings. Now here you can see the caravan. Those days they don't have lorries or trucks to transport things. So they use these caravans or the wagons. And these wagons are pulled either by cows or oxen or bulls, horses. These are the animals used to pull these many caravans from one place to another, maybe to do the business in trading. The merchants, for example, they will bring their goods from one place to another to sell or to trade. And here is actually an animated image of a desert area because there is reference to the desert in this Vannapatha Jataka. Now, let us now go on to the second slide, which starts off the story. This is slide number 2. It starts off the story. The Bodhisattva, the meaning of Bodhisattva, which is in Pali, in Sanskrit, is called Bodhisattva, Pusat. This Bodhisattva, the translation according to the Theravada tradition, is a person who is on the path to enlightenment. He is cultivating all the qualities, the spiritual qualities, right, on his quest for enlightenment. You can say he's a Buddha to be. So a Bodhisattva is heading towards the path of Buddhahood, to become a Buddha. Now, in one of his lifetimes, he was a merchant, Saudagala. And this merchant, one of the occasions, he had to lead a large ox cart caravans, many caravans. And many Jataka stories talk about 500 caravans. Many actually in the Buddhist scriptures, they talk about 500 disciples following the Buddha, and then 500 caravans, 500 bags of dana, gold. Or actually, to me, it's symbolic. Just to tell you, many lah, right? It's just a way of writing. Many lah. So he led many caravans filled with the goods, and these merchants are doing business, right? Trading business. So they are moving to a distant land or to some distant lands lah. And the leader of this caravan, right, going to the distant land is the Buddha to be lah, the Bodhisattva with very special qualities. Now on one trip, the caravans led by the Bodhisattva had to pass through a very dangerous desert. And you know, a desert is very hot, especially in the daytime. But at nighttime, it can be very cold. And you can hardly find any vegetation, plants, or, animals and so on. Because of the conditions, very hot. And sometimes you have sandstorms, where the sand can blow. I think you have heard of Sahara Desert, and then deserts in various countries also. That is the desert. So to go to that distant land, this Bodhisattva had to lead the caravans to cross this desert, right? So let us see what happens next now. This now goes to slide number 3. It continues the Jataka story. So it was extremely hot during the daytime. Travel was only possible in the cool of the night, and all necessities needed to be brought along from home, right? Now, here as I said just now, during the daytime it's very hot. The temperatures may maybe go up to more than 40 degrees Celsius, right? And it's a very trying condition, and of course, you have heard the animals very commonly use camels, but here in this case, they use oxen, which also can be quite tough, right? Camels also can be. Camels are very often to use because they can store up the water, but these oxen, they also are used, but they have to. The people in charge had to bring all the water and the food, whatever that was needed, protective clothing, or the mask to shield from the sand storm. When sand blows into your face, gets into your eyes, it'll be terrible, isn't it? So that's why you see some desert people, they wear the mask to shield the face, right? So that time, they did not have compass. They did not have now what we have, GPS, so you can know the direction, you can track, isn't it? We have proper maps also and all those stuff. But those days, no such thing as GPS or devices, sophisticated compasses to guide you along the way so that you won't get lost and go to another place astray. So there was this desert pilot. Desert pilot is one of the people there. He would act as the guide. Probably he was very good in tracking. Tracking means to know the direction. And what did they rely upon? They had to rely upon the stars. Now, these stars in the skies, they have certain patterns, So these people who guide the caravans, or who are guiding the team of travelers, they know how to move according to the guide given by the stars in the sky, the patterns. This is a North Star, or this star, all those things. Just like, captains sailing in the ships and the boats also, sometimes also they would have to be guided by the stars, nature. So that was this situation. So that is slide number 3. Now let us go on to slide number 4. So they have been traveling for some days, as I told you, they had to bring along the food and also enough water in the containers to last. They would know how many days. So final night already, the navigator, the person already said, oh, we are reaching already, final night. They would travel through the night, and the next morning they're expected to reach the destination, the place where the merchants would do the trading, maybe selling or maybe trade with other merchants. So this Bodhisattva was the leader of the group. He realized that, oh, early next morning already, they would reach the place already. So the night, very cool during the night, so they would not need so many of those extra barrels of water, and then firewood also they brought along a lot of it, because during the journey sometimes very, very cold at night. They might have to build a fire, so they also brought some firewood. So he said, now in order to travel faster in the night and reach there early morning, we must, sort of leave behind some of the, there was so many barrels of water and then also a lot of firewood We burden the oxen, and then the things will slow down, isn't it? So they say going to reach already before they started the journey on the early night. So they left behind most of the barrels of water and maybe some food also they left behind. So to lighten the load, since next morning they will reach the town already, and they would have all the things already. So that was what the Bodhisattva told other people, the workers and so on, give the directions. Now, of course, this picture shows the horses. Actually, the story involved the oxen. Sometimes also perhaps camels and horses might be used also, because I've seen pictures where the horses were used to fight in the desert area also. But anyway, you understand what is happening. So now let us go on to the next slide. Now for the Malay translation, which I use Google Translate, you can read later on when they are posted on YouTube and also SlideShare. Now let us go on to slide number 5 already. Slide number 5. Now, but during the night, there was this young man who was supposed to be the navigator, he's the pilot, like the pilot in the plane. So it's in this case the pilot leading the caravan's young man, because he knew most about the tracking of the stars and moving the right direction. Otherwise, you go in the wrong direction, isn't it? Unfortunately, during the night, this fella fell asleep, So, when he fell asleep, he couldn't guide the oxen to go in the right direction. So the oxen simply moved, and they went off course. Off course means not following the correct path already, the correct direction. Probably they turned back the oxen. And then, the leading oxen only will lead the whole caravan, the rest will follow suit. So the night passed, and then next morning, instead of arriving at the town, the Bodhisattva found out, right? Because the Bodhisattva was not the pilot, right? And at night, so they had to rely on the pilot, So the caravans were back, where they had been the day before. So wasted, hours of traveling. Instead of reaching the town now, they went back to the spot that they had been the day before. The day before. So it was terrible, isn't it? So when they reached that place already, what to do? So they had to set up camp. That means delay already. They have to prepare the tents, right? Because they needed rest also, very tough journey, along the desert part. And they were very frustrated, and they sort of were losing hope already, because they knew already they will not have enough water already, because he left behind in the other place where they started the journey at night one. So the This was a distance away already. And then also, of course, the water, whether it was open, it might have been evaporated lah, or, something might happen already. So no more a lack of water, very little water left already. And without water, you can die, isn't it? Of course, then the other thing was food, but the most important is water. And this was threatening the lives of the men. So in this area, so dry and hot, it was the morning already, no water. How could they survive? Right. So now the interesting thing you have to know, did they die on earth with the hot sun and insufficient water to let the oxen drink also? The animals also need to drink apart from the people, isn't it? Wow, it was a very, very serious thing. A serious danger. No, the story did not tell whether the young man was punished or not. Poor fella. Of course, it could happen. He was so tired, he slept, and then he went off course. So let us now look at slide number 6 now, right? Slide number 6. This is 6. So the Bodhisattva, he was full of wisdom, and he had a lot of qualities like patience, determination, all those qualities that eventually will lead him to become a Buddha. So then he knew already they would all perish. All would die if they could not get water. So he had to walk around the area, the sandy area in the desert. And then you know what did he find? He found a clump of kusha grass. Now, what is the meaning of kusha grass? Kusha grass actually, long time ago, thousands of years ago already, you had such grass. They had long blades, and the common name was big cord grass or salt reed grass. These are the names. Maybe got some resemblance to a bit of the lalang or what. But they could survive tough grass, and they could survive in the desert, And in other areas, the Brahmins, those days you had the holy people, the Brahmins, early Hinduism, they would use this grass to worship their gods, supposed to be holy. So that was the ritual. So anyway, it's a type of grass. So then this Bodhisattva found this clump of grass. And he was a very smart guy, right? So he reasoned, he thought, now if grass could grow here, that means there must be water underneath. Without the water, how can the grass grow? And in deserts, you find you can hardly have rain for months sometimes, right? So huge areas of the desert that would be dry, Of course, you might later on find certain areas with the cacti or the cactus or oasis. But a lot of areas you couldn't, you walk on and on and on. It's terrible. You can see movies of that. Then he called his men already, the Bodhisattva, and he told them, you all have to dig a hole, right? You dig a hole around the area of this kusha grass. And there must be water underneath. So then, the man, some of the disciples of the Bodhisattva, the workers, so they use all their equipment, resembling the changko or the spade all those things. They started to dig many, many, many meters deep because water will reside very, very deep down, isn't it? So maybe, 20, 30, 40 or 50 meters and to deep, nothing, no water. Then finally, their equipment, the changkul or the spade or what, hit something very hard, And that actually was rock, Wow, hit the rock, Instead of hitting the sand, now they hit the rock. So there was this rock already. Wow, very difficult already with the rock there, how to dig further. They could not see any water, no sign of any water. And they were feeling very thirsty and tired already. And they lost hope already. This image will show this one, the starting of the digging, this one seeing the kusha grass, and then after that they were tired already, they more or less gave up already. Because deep down, just the rocks and the huge stones, everything, and no water. So what to do? So now, we not get the water, so the Bodhisattva give up, right? And then just start to pray. No, the Bodhisattva doesn't do that. He was smart and had wisdom, and he would find a way out, right? So let us now go to slide number 7. Slide number 7 now. So what did the Bodhisattva do? He did not give up. Remember, he was a Bodhisattva with determination, persistence, patience, wisdom, all the qualities. He did not give up. And he knew he had to go on to find a way out. That means to solve the problem of no water, isn't it? How are they going to travel? Distance again. And it was daytime now, so hot under the sun, no water can survive, very difficult. So the picture not so accurate. Actually, he climbed down the hole. They already dug the hole, isn't it? Many meters deep. He slowly climbed down, and then he placed his ear on the rock, near the rock, and listened carefully. What would be under the rock? So when he listened carefully on the rock, placing the ear on the rock, he could hear running water. He was very acute in his hearing sense, Great. Then he had confidence there was water running just beneath the rock, going to break the rock. So he was very confident that he could solve the problem. But the men were already tired, they had given up hope. So who would go and dig further, hammer and break the rocks? It was a tough job, isn't it? So what could he do? Right? So he had to get a worker. So now let us see what happens now. So let us go on to slide number 8. This is slide number 8. So in the group of the workers, the disciples and so on, there was a young boy, He didn't mention in the story how old he was. Maybe just equivalent to one of the secondary students. Not very old, maybe equivalent to Form 3, Form 4, or Form 2 even. But they were tough people, used to manual work also. So there was this boy, and all the while he had great respect for the Bodhisattva. He was like a disciple, you can say, following this leader, the Buddha to be, all the while. And of course, he was in that group. So he was the only one who did not give up hope. He had great confidence in the Bodhisattva. He had great faith that the Bodhisattva would be able to solve the problem. And he also, just like the Bodhisattva, he got great determination to solve the problem. And he would not give up, right? So he was ever ready to follow what the Bodhisattva asked, right? So luckily there was this boy. The boy had faith in the Bodhisattva. Now all these are pictures only to show the Bodhisattva, the young boy, and then later on they dug the area. This picture doesn't show the whole. All right, so let us now go on to the next slide, which is slide number 9. Now, so the Bodhisattva approach, this picture shows he's so very old and bearded. Actually, these are all just drawings. Just give you an idea, right? The time no camera, how would people know how the Bodhisattva look like? But he should be a very pleasant looking man, right? So he approached the boy. He asked the boy, right? You please go down the hole, use the sledgehammer. Now, this is a sledgehammer, a type of a hammer also now, right? You could use this to break the rocks, right? So he said, you go down and break the rock with the sledgehammer. I told you they had brought along all the necessary things. And among the things they brought were some equipment, hammers, spades, right, and other things. So he said that if you do not have the courage and you don't have the determination and persistence, and you say, no, I don't want, then all of us will die. The Bodhisattva just now, the young boy, as I said, was confident, determined, right? And he really respected the Bodhisattva and he had great faith in him. So he said, okay, master, I will do as told, right? So then he climbed down using his sledgehammer, the hammer. And then, of course, he was young, but he had a lot of strength, right? So he kept hammering persistently at the rock. It was not easy, to break the rock. Many will give up already, you see, but he did not. So he hammer and hammer and hammer. Finally, one big blow from the hammer broke the rock. And that was fantastic. He broke the rock, so which meant that the water that was probably flowing in the stream underneath the great depth there was a stream of water, a spring, I can say a spring. So now the water could come out. Otherwise, the rock actually blocking, isn't it? So the water could not come out. It would just be around the depth area, the deep area inside. Wow. You could see the picture, the Bodhisattva encouraging the young boy, and then the young boy working very hard. The other players are tired, really exhausted, thirsty, just looking only. And then, you see this picture, they heard something already. He had broken the rock. He had broken the rock and prevent and then also dam the spring, which means that the rock had blocked the spring of water one. So this sort of allow the water to come out to shoot out from the spring already. It's just like you have like a fountain of water right? But then you have certain blockade. But then once you break the blockade, just like in the oil spill, you find the oil coming out from the ocean or things like that, right? So they have to drill, right? They're all drilling also, something like that to get the oil. So it was very, very good already. So let us now see what is next now, which is slide number. Hey, just now, I think we have to move on to slide number 9. All this one we already saw was slide number 9. The Bodhisattva asked the boy, right? So as I told you now, the water shot up already. So let us actually now move to slide number 10 already. So just now you said, wow, you see the water shot up like this. These are drawings I managed to get a search in the internet. Wow, you see the water coming out. And then here is a painting. I think this is probably of a Burmese tradition because the picture is very unique. This Bodhisattva, right? Using the sledgehammer, or some stories they just put down hammer. Sledgehammer will be quite good. You saw the picture just now, right? So then water rush up. Wow, all the people were very happy, isn't it? The workers are, it's just like a fantastic thing from heaven to get water. They were so thirsty and you could die of thirst, isn't it? So they had good drinking water. And then usually from the spring, they're very clear, clean water from the spring. Not the muddy water that we get in the rivers, you see. So they drank, and then also they took their baths also. And then also, because it was a whole day, they would only travel at night, as I told you, right? So they could use they still kept some metal containers. So they used maybe some cooking utensils. They had some pots also. And then also some still firewood, dry firewood, and they could make the fire. So they could cook the rice also. So they had good meal. Maybe they brought some other types of food, preserved food or what, salt fish. I don't know. So anyway, they had good bath, a good rest, and then good food, and so much water to drink. Wow. So they were very happy. They rested everything. And then, of course, they showed great gratitude to the young boy who did not give up and used his strength and courage and persistence and patience to solve the problem. So you see, just like in the football match, wow, the one who scored the goal, wow, after winning the match, wow, the other players would lift him up, throw him up in the air. That is the celebration. So then they were getting ready to travel the night already. And this time, of course, the navigator, the pilot, so-called pilot, oh, you make sure that he did not sleep already, lah. Maybe there was somebody who now will place beside him to make sure that he would not sleep again. Otherwise, had it, isn't it? Wasted time, isn't it? So that night, so they started the journey, very smooth, everything, right direction, and they completed their journey. They reached the destination, probably a town or something like that. That there were other merchants, so they had all the goods in the caravan, so they could sell the goods, could trade, and they made a lot of profit. They were good businessmen also, right? Then after that, they got ready and returned home safely. So that was this story in the Jataka. And now you have to know why this Jataka story was told and in what context did the Buddha tell this Jataka story and to whom? So you can see the whole picture more clearly. So now we will go back to the time of the Buddha. This was long, long time ago. The Bodhisattva was not the Buddha. No, now you picture yourself going back to the time of the present Buddha, not the present, not the Buddha lah. So now let us go on to slide number 11 now. This is slide number 11. So now we are going to be at the lifetime of the Buddha. Right? This is a lifetime. Just now the story was dating maybe, hundreds of years ago or thousands of years ago. One of the lives he was a Bodhisattva. Now he's the Buddha already. And during that time, there was a young disciple monk who followed the Buddha, right? And he was very, very hardworking, and he practiced the Dhamma very well, especially the meditation, listen to the Dhamma discourses or the teachings, right? And this young disciple monk, in one of the previous life, he was that young boy. So after many rounds of rebirth, because the boy had good qualities, so he was reborn as this young disciple monk of the Buddha, right? But this young monk, during the Buddha's time, he practiced so hard, he tried so hard, he was not able to make any progress to become an arahant or to improve in the meditation or to become the first stage of sainthood, a sotapanna. So got stuck, no progress. So in the end, he was thinking, I cannot improve. I cannot get any wisdom, insight. After intense meditation, very hard work at meditating, and also I studied in the isolated area. I reflected, contemplated, did all the things, but still no progress. I think I better give up. So he decided to give up, So he went to tell the Buddha, he said, I'm going to give up already, because I made no progress. That's when the Buddha told him this story of his own past life when he was that young boy who saved the rest of the people in the caravans who died of thirst, remember? So the Buddha told him this story of his past life. He said, in the past life, you see, all gave up. But this young boy who was you in the previous life did not give up. So you must continue trying until you become successful. So the Buddha motivated him, inspired him, And then at the end of the story, the Buddha still gave him some Dhamma teachings to help him in his practice of meditation. Wow, he was changed already. He was very confident. Oh, he was energized. A lot of energy, really, and determination. Because of inspiration. After listening to the story of the boy, the Jataka story. So he was very motivated and inspired. He said, yes, Master, thank you for motivating and inspiring me. So I would not give up. Just as in that one of the previous lives, I was a young boy. All the rest all gave up, did not want to go and dig at the rock. But I did not give up. I went on. And then I could find the water to save the rest. So reflecting on this, he did not give up. So he went on with the Dhamma teachings given again, right? So he went on to strive ardently, patience, tolerance, persistence, determination. All these qualities he strived on. So in the end, he became enlightened. He became an arahant. There's a beautiful part, isn't it? Of course, this animation shows he was meditating very, very hard, diligently in the wilderness. Wilderness means isolated area, nobody will be there. So this one also a beautiful picture showing this young monk present the lifetime of the Buddha that time, not the Jataka story already, and he was telling the Buddha wanted to give up. So a very, very meaningful story. But now we come to the final slide, and that is slide number 12. And this is the most important slide in the sense that the great Dharma teachings are there for you to understand, to reflect or contemplate on, and then also to practice so that you will develop in your mind. That's the important thing. That was a story, very nice to hear, right? That's a story. But more important will be the Dharma teachings. Whether you want to believe that story or not believe, it's not that important. What is important is the Dharma. So let us now go on to slide number 12, the final slide. So that is slide number 12, titled Life Lessons to Learn, Pelajaran Hidup untuk dipelajari. Now we can actually also put it as Dharma teachings to learn. Actually, Dharma is universal. These life lessons can be practiced by all people of different religions, so it doesn't matter. Because they will help you when these Dharma lessons are understood, reflected upon, and put into practice, then they will help you to live a life that is more peaceful, more happy, more meaningful. So a lot of benefits. So let us look at these 3 life lessons that I have listed in this last slide. Now let us look at the first one. Now these are the 2 qualities. Determination and effort are important values. Keazaman dan usaha adalah nilai yang penting. Now in the paramis, or what we call the perfections, in the Theravada tradition, there are 10 paramis or perfections which the Bodhisattva, according to the account, one account, over many, many lifetimes, he developed these qualities until the final life as Siddhartha Gautama. And then finally, you know, the life of the Siddhartha Gautama, Bodhisattva also. Before that, he was into Sita heaven. And before that, he was a disciple of the previous Dhamma Kassapa Buddha. So in these 3 situations, as a disciple of the Kassapa Buddha, he had already cultivated, and those things were in the depth of the mind already. He had probably attained maybe first stage of sainthood, right? Not yet enlightened, or maybe second stage or so, maybe first stage. And then after he passed away in that period, then he was born into Sita heaven, this the second lifetime as a Bodhisattva. And into Sita heaven, of course, lifespan longer. And then also he continued the striving of, was very good place of rebirth to Sita heaven. And then finally, a time came where he was, according to the workings of karma, he had to be reborn as Siddhartha Gautama and to continue until he became the Buddha. I don't have to tell you the story of Siddhartha Gautama again. So this determination, 决心, right? And in Pali, it's called aditana, right? Determined to succeed. Effort is energy. If it's right effort, it's sama vayama. It is the effort, the energy you put in, right? Very diligently. So you find these two qualities are very important, not only to become a Buddha, but in your ordinary life also. They will want to succeed as a student. You must have the determination, the discipline, the determination to achieve your goal of being successful in what you do as a student, in studying to get a qualification, also in our ordinary life. And then if you don't put in the effort, every day you pray and pray and pray, can you be successful? You cannot. Isn't it? So you must put in the wise effort, then only you can attain success. So the effort that you put in must be wise, must be the correct, wise methods. If you use foolish methods, memorize without understanding about a student, right? Or what do you call it? Don't do your project. So determination and effort are important values. These are two of the 10 paramis of perfections of the Bodhisattva as he moved on in many lifetimes, cultivating these to become eventually the fully enlightened Buddha. And we can learn important lessons that we know that these two qualities are important. So we have to practice them for all things that we do. Diligence, determination, effort, they are important, including the practice of Dhamma. You see, the Bodhisattva, before he became enlightened, he struggled for 6 years as Siddhartha Gautama, right? I think you know the story. And then he had that determination, that, persistence, he tried all the hard practices are really very tough ones, And then corresponding to Vesak Day, he sat under the Bodhi tree and he made that vow, that determination that he would not move out. He will struggle on, he will strive on in his meditation until he became enlightened. And he became enlightened on the Vesak Day, fully enlightened Buddha. So without the determination, you cannot succeed, isn't it? So that is this first thing that you have to realize. Now let us go on to the second great Dhamma teaching. Confidence and diligence are a need for success. At least you have another two qualities. Now, diligence also tie up with our energy and effort are connected in a way, right? In fact, it has been mentioned many times by motivators, also by monks, that for success, whether it's in the worldly affairs or in the spiritual part or in your Dhamma practice, if you want to be successful, diligence is the most, or is one of the most, if not the most important qualities you must have. You know very well, a person cannot be successful as a student if he's not diligent in his studies, isn't it? Hardworking, industrious. That is a very important quality. I remember over more than 30 years of teaching, 40 years or so already, including the guidance classes in the association, I found that all the students that did very well, they were diligent, hardworking. In the 1970s, I think, or 74, I had one student in Form 6, very smart. He had all the qualities, good in studies, good in extracurricular activities. So I was a Form teacher in Form 6. So I found that his test results and exam results in the Monday test and the school exam were dropping. So I called him up. I said that you have not put in enough work. You are not hardworking enough. You know what he said? He said, sir, don't worry. I said, I'm not worried. I'm just advising you. He said, last time Form 5, I studied last few months. I also got all A's. Now Form 6, I think maybe give last 6 months. I said, cannot. You have to be diligent all throughout. You didn't follow the advice, and finally, the Form 6 result all lousy lah. could not get into any university in Malaysia, so the father had to send him overseas. So you see, very important diligence and confidence. Satta. So like this boy who broke the rock and got the water, right? He had great confidence. He had confidence in the Bodhisattva, a very good leader and teacher. And he also had confidence in his capability. He was confident that he could succeed, isn't it? So he's not the type to just give up at that. He said, I can do it. I'm confident. He's not being proud, though. Being proud is not good. Being confident, that means you have that, or you can say faith, right? That I can succeed. That means you have positive thinking. A person without confidence, I think very hard, cannot succeed one. I may fail, what happens, if I study this topic, it doesn't come out, and I don't study that topic, it comes out. All those negative thinkings are not confident in his capability. You find the great scientists, the inventors, and so on, they have these two qualities. Very diligent, persistence, keep on trying. Remember I told you the story of Thomas Edison? Very diligent and persistent. He failed, don't know, 600 or 700 or 800 times experimenting with the electric bulb. And he failed so many times. But he had confidence in himself. He was diligent. He was persistent, perseverance. Keep on at it. And then in the end, he succeeded. And now today, we have the electric bulbs, electric lighting, all this. So it was this great inventor and scientist, Thomas Edison. So when you reflect on this, it's so important for us to develop that confidence. But of course, to develop that confidence, like for example, confidence in the Dhamma, the first step is ehi passiko. Ehi passiko means come and see. That means you give yourself a chance to learn, understand, and think about the Dhamma. And then you put it into practice, right? The teachings that you get. Then you can see, wow, really true. A lot of benefits like metta. I remember last time when I started learning this more than 30 years ago, they talk about the benefits. Then I say, I will give myself a chance and test out and see. And I said, wow, really true. So many benefits can get. Then your confidence begins to grow. That's the Dhamma way. Not just to believe blindly. Oh, this book says it, so I must believe it. It's the word from the heavenly God. No, it's not like that. Right? You have the Buddhist scriptures, right? The holy books, they are guide. So they are a guide, and so you think about that, study it, follow it, and practice, and then realize for yourself. The spirit of inquiry, charter of free inquiry. So that is a very important thing. So I hope I have explained to you these two qualities. So far now you have these 4 qualities already. Confidence, satta, is one of the 5 spiritual powers. Diligence, you can say is perseverance, putting in the effort also connected here. Determination, there's a connection. So now let's look at the last of the teachings. This one is basically the most important moral of the story. Persevere, do not give up. Actually, the most important words for this story is do not give up. Many cannot achieve the success because they give up so easily. Very hard, I cannot do one, right? I cannot pass this exam one, right? So they don't persevere on. And one very good example is just now I mentioned to you, the great inventor, Thomas Edison. He persevered. Persevere means he goes on and keeps on trying until he gets success. He doesn't give up so easily. So imagine you see the spider spinning a web. Spins patiently with diligence, determination. And then maybe a wind comes and the wind blows and destroys the web. Does the spider just cry and cry and refuses to do anything and gives up. No, he will spin again in the next rap, isn't it? That is a very interesting analogy. So people who give up so easily will not be successful in whatever they do, either in the mundane world, your ordinary life as a student, or next time also in your job, right? So you give up so easily. You have problems. Yeah, of course, everybody has problems. So when you have problems, you have to confront or face the problems and think out ways to solve. And maybe you can also seek out the help of wise people to get good advice to help you rather than just give up. So imagine if the Buddha, as a Bodhisattva at that time, he had given up in his struggle, 6 years practicing all the harsh practices, so little food to eat, and then also the body also thin already, also very harsh conditions. He's trying all the what we call ascetic practices, something like torturing the body also. He found he couldn't get anywhere, but he did not give up. He still went on until he got the method before he became the Buddha. So this is a very important lesson. Many people give up so easily, especially like in the practice of meditation. I found so many people give up. Starting, I remember though in the 1990s, there were maybe 20, I was coordinating, helping out in the group. So you would have 20, 30, and then also going for retreats also. Right? Maybe you might have 8 or 9 or 10 like that. At one stage also 20 or, but now you find so few. You give up already. And one of the reasons is they have no patience, no determination, no perseverance. They are very difficult one, cannot one. No confidence. So how can you achieve the goal? You just keep on doing, don't expect anything. They expect things. Why so long you still cannot get? They think that it's like the 3-minute instant Maggie. Put the Maggie in the hot water, 3 minutes, then you can eat already. Some people maybe faster because of the past lives, attainments. Some of them I've seen, even young children in the meditation center, you could sit so patiently, right, full of determination and confidence, and they could meditate all day, after 1 hour walking meditation. When I started, I found it was very difficult. So I thought of giving up also. Then after I saw this little boy in front of me, he was a temporary monk, probably 5 年级, only standard 5, right? Because his grandmother also in the morning had to help him to put on the ropes. Wow, fantastic. Confidence, diligence, effort, perseverance, all the qualities, no. So how is it that you can get a boy like this? In the previous lives, they might have cultivated. They have developed those things. So now continuation. So therefore I was inspired. I didn't give up, completed the 7 or 8 days. So that's why there is a very interesting quotation. Quitters never win. Winners never quit. That means people who quit, every time I quit, I give up everything, they can never win. And then winners never quit. People are successful and don't give up easily, like it means, right? Of course, certain things you have to quit. For example, bad things, all you have to quit. Quit smoking. Let's say your goal. You must be determined. You must be disciplined. Must be diligent. Put in the effort to quit smoking, let's say, or drinking. Very difficult really, isn't it? You give up. You cannot quit one. You give up. That one, you lose the battle. Then in the end, there's a price to pay. You smoke on and on. Then one day you get the terrible effects, lung cancer, heart problems, all drinking the same thing. So bad things, of course, you have to discard, to quit. The one you must not give up, to quit, to quit those bad habits. Good ones you must cultivate with patience, diligence, discipline. So those students have thought to have been very successful. They are very, very disciplined. They have a timetable, they follow everything. Then they will go on, persevere. Maths problems cannot solve. They don't just give up so easily. I cannot solve one, are very difficult. They will keep on at it until they succeed. That is this beautiful thing. So I hope that you have learned very important life lessons or Dharma teachings from this story of the Jataka, the Vannapatha Jataka. And you have actually hundreds, I think more than 400-500 of Jataka stories, right? I have all the books, but the books you find the language quite difficult sometimes. So I have to edit and then make them simple and put in some pictures so that you can understand easily. So now, before we say sadhu 3 times, so I would like to thank all you boys and girls, the students of the Buddhist Sunday School, and also Dharma classes, and all the youth members, and also adults, because some adults tell me they like to follow the Sunday school lessons because a lot of very useful things are very true. Even even adults can learn from this Jataka story, isn't it? Because the life lessons at the end of the slides are applicable to all, actually, not only to the young students of Sunday school, to all people, including the adults, even for your parents, grandparents, and so on. So, to you boys and girls, students of Buddhist Sunday School, Dharma classes, and also the parents and grandparents who are imparting good values or good Dharma teachings to the young, and also the teachers of the Buddhist Sunday School and Dharma class. I'd like to express my thanks and say sadhu to all of you for taking time to follow this presentation. You have put in good effort, and also you have concentrated and you are mindful of what is being discussed, right? So sadhu to all of you. So now let us put our palms together and say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Boys and girls, students of Buddhist Sunday School and Dharma class, and all who have been following this presentation, may you all be well, happy, and peaceful. Take care.